In this video, we're going to be covering another SQL question. This is question number 262, trips and users. We've got a schema which has two tables. One is the trips. Trips has ID of the trip, ID of the client, ID of the driver, city ID, and there is a status which is an enum. It could be completed, cancelled by driver, cancelled by client, and then request add, which is just a var character, although that's it shows over here that it's a date, but the type of the variable is var character here. Then we've got the users. User could be user ID and it could be band. Band is mostly yes or no, again represented as var character. Then we have a role enum. It could be client, it could be driver, or it could be partner. Then we fill in the data. Basically, the trips is the table that holds all taxi trips, and as you can see from the status that either the trip is going to be completed, or it's going to be cancelled by the driver, or it's going to be cancelled by the client. Then we have users, individual users, and they can be banned, yes or no, and they have a role whether they are client or driver. We need to calculate the cancellation rate. It is So to find the cancellation rate of requests with unbanned users, each day between this, and you need to round the 2 decimal points. And there is a very elaborate explanation of, let's say, if we have these strips in here, between those dates, for every single date, you're gonna see how many requests were there, but you're gonna be ignoring the requests which were by the IDs, either the driver or the client, who is banned. You're gonna ignore these requests, and then the rest is like the total number of requests is gonna be in the denominator, and the successful request, sorry, the unsuccessful or the cancelled request is gonna be on the numerator. So the ratio is gonna be known as the cancellation rate, and you need to round it off. Exactly as I explained, we are rounding it to the 2 decimal places as mentioned in the requirement here. Basically, it is a ratio of two things: the total number of trips which we're going to be getting from here, right, and the trip where the status is not completed. So if the status is not completed, right, we're gonna take this. It's like if this is true, you're gonna say true, or otherwise it's gonna be false. So you are counting that whether the status of that is not completed. If it is not completed, you're gonna say true. Reason being is like we are looking for cancel. So because it could be cancelled by driver, it could be cancelled as client. So the only thing we care about is that it is not completed. If it is not completed, that's gonna make it to the numerator, because that's what we are looking for when it comes to the cancellation rate. Okay, so if it is not completed, that means it's gonna increment the count. Otherwise, it won't increment the count. Okay, we are taking everything from the trips. The request at needs to be between those two dates. The client ID, make sure that the client ID and the driver ID does not exist in those banned ones. So we will say select user underscore ID from users where the band is equal to yes. So if you bring up that if you look for that client and it says that okay, uh, the client is banned, if you make a list of those users, that client ID should not exist in that list. Similarly, the driver ID should not exist in that kind of uh, yeah, in that kind of list, which is going to be generated by here of all the banned users. The driver ID does not exist. We're going to be group them by the request IDs. Yeah, because there can be multiple uh, like we can basically going to be grouping them with the request IDs and then use this formula. uh, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Thanks for watching.